Central Fire Station was built in 1909 as part of the original Ada City Hall. Aside from some remodeling in the 1930s, the building has been essentially the same for more than 100 years. Imagine if your home were that old, and that it was occupied round the clock by a minimum of 5 firefighters.
The most important thing would be to think about the men and women that are, protecting our city and serving our community. If you look at the facility that they're in, it's very outdated, and more importantly, the firefighters in that department, they live in that facility. It's not like an office where you go to work and you go home every day, maybe at 5 o'clock. They're there 24/7 while they're on their shift, and it's not a facility that I would be proud of to say that my firefighters work there.
From my understanding, they're kind of splitting out at the seams a little bit. They just don't have enough room to do the things that they need to do. So this new facility that we'll be building for them will allow for the room that they need.
We have a lot of children come in and tour the fire station, and right now we're dropping them off out in the street to bring them into the station. Currently, in order for us to enter the station, we have to block the street off every time, pull out in the middle of the street and back in. So safety's an issue. Another important thing is we've simply outgrown the station. Over the years, we need more space to store the more modern equipment that we have now for firefighting, rescue, and medical emergencies.
The new Central Fire Station, funded by the Penny for Our City sales tax, will alleviate all the issues currently facing the department. It will be built just 2 blocks south of the current station on a much bigger lot. This site was selected after exhaustive research by the Fire Station Citizens Committee.
It's my opinion that of all the locations we looked at, the location that was chosen was the best one that we had found. We used a digital map on a computer, and we built a program that would model our response time from various locations around Ada that we looked at. And overall, of the criteria we set forth, the location we have chosen at 14th and Broadway is the best location.
Well, the 14th and Broadway location had several advantages to it. And as we went through and looked at literally dozens of locations, and we got on a bus and we traveled the city and the community and foot walked all of those sites, it made sense for, not only was it the most centrally located location, but it also it had advantages when you started to look and factor in the train tracks that cross up through our city, and also the coverage model with the future growth. I mean, you're talking about building a new fire station that could be here for the next 100 years. So not only do you have to look at the current population where your city is really dispersed, but also what the future living, I guess the housing and structures and the buildings that are going to be built within your community over the next few decades. So those are a couple of things that really came about in play with the committee.
It's the best selection because it allows for a central location. I'm excited to get it at least a block away from the downtown area, because when the fire station needs to bring their trucks out and stuff, it inhibits traffic in the downtown area, and I don't think it'll do that at the location that we're going to build the new fire station at.
The fire station, they're being evaluated and rated on 4-minute service time or less in order to respond to a call. And whenever you looked at just a few blocks away of putting the fire station a few blocks from maybe where it is today or where it is with the location that we've decided on, it didn't seem to be that big of a difference, but because of light patterns and traffic and structures and turning radiuses and things like that, suddenly, a few blocks away made a big difference in service time. And we always focused on service for the community and what we really needed to do to make sure that the current state and future state models were the best for the citizens of Ada. we took all of those different locations very seriously, and then we also had to factor in the amount of work and prep work that was to be done at some of those locations. Some of them looked really good on the surface, but when you got down deeper into, you realized that there was either previous structures that had been housed on that space, there could be contamination issues that we had to deal with, there was drainage ditches and drainage problems with some of them, so there was a lot of factors that really went into that.
Building a new fire station certainly doesn't happen very often, as evidenced by the century-old facility in use now, so it's important to think and plan for inevitable growth down the road. The new location provides for future expansion, as well as more room to conduct current business that is presently restricted due to lack of space.
The station that we're going to build is likely to be expected to last 80 to 100 years. And we're already outgrown the facility that we have. So one of the key points we want to make sure of is our new facility will allow for that growth over the next 80 to 100 years. The current facility is so crowded that it doesn't allow any area for firefighters to perform skill-related training. And it's very important for firefighters to repetitiously do this skill-related training so that they can do it quickly and efficiently when called upon. A new piece of property that sits on a larger footprint is going to allow us to perform skill-related training both inside the facility, because it will be larger during inclement weather, and we'll be able to perform outside the facility because we'll have parking areas in the back and the front of the station that allow us to pull our trucks out and operate the equipment that we have on them.
The search for a new fire station location, as well as the approaching construction, has benefited and will continue to benefit from an exhaustive analytical process. The new fire station will ideally serve multiple generations of future Ada residents.
I moved here personally 4 years ago, and when I first came, this was one of the hot topics, and I chose to get involved in it because it does impact quality of life, and service to this community is paramount. And I think, you know, when you talk about your fire and police stations, the ability to protect and serve the community, it's very important.
I'm just thankful for what the firefighters do for us. They put themselves in harm's way. They first protect lives and then property, and they're vital to any city.